New at 6 right now, a national fight over how artificial intelligence was used to slash hundreds of humanities grants. That includes the High Desert Museum right here in Bend. KGW's Evan Watson has the story.
At the University of Oregon, English professor Maddie Burkert specializes in theater history. She created the London Stage Database, uploading 52,000 nights of theater records from a 140-year period to a free online portal. A brilliant new resource for scholars, genealogists, historians, and data journalists. The National Endowment for the Humanities gave her a grant to expand it. Last spring, she lost that funding, based in part on a quick ChatGPT review.
That, of course, I find it incredibly concerning because these were grants that were awarded incredibly competitively on the basis of extensive expert peer review.
The depositions of staffers who worked for Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, part of a federal lawsuit seeking to restore funding, reveal how DOGE cut more than 1,000 grants in a matter of days.
I think it was more important to reduce the federal deficit from $2 trillion to close to zero.
Did you reduce the federal deficit?
No, we didn't.
The workers asked ChatGPT if any existing grant projects related to diversity, equity, or inclusion. They didn't define DEI and asked for responses limited to 120 characters.
I actually asked Claude yesterday, the chatbot Claude, whether I could ask it to help me make some decisions about whether to terminate some federal grants. And the answer I got was, no, you really should not. That is not an appropriate use case for a large language model because of context and expertise and regulations.
DOGE ended up cutting roughly 97% of appropriated humanities grants, also targeting projects green-lighted during the Biden administration.
You'd say a ChatGPT review, a quick, massive purge of thousands of grants, that's not an effective way of cutting appropriate funds.
I do not believe so, no.
One DOGE staffer repeatedly struggled to define DEI in his deposition, referring to President Trump's executive order, which also didn't define DEI.
Do you have an understanding as you sit here today of what DEI means?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your understanding of what it means?
Well, it is exactly what was written in the EO.
The High Desert Museum in Bend lost $750,000 in funding for 5 grants, including ones focused on the plateau's indigenous people and the changing climate's impact on the region.
We're not going to feel that right now. We're going to feel it a couple decades from now. What we lose are the stories of our humanity in that documentation, the nuance of what it means to be an Oregonian.
The University of Oregon provided bridge funding to help Burkert continue her research, and she reduced the scope of her project with the loss of that federal grant.
These grants far over-deliver in terms of the value that they offer to our shared public and civic life.